Next guest I want to have on is, we're kind of switching all over the place. That's what we do here. Dion Cini. He's a political activist. He's a pro-Trump guy. Many of you might know him from the flags that he waves at all these events, especially in New York. He was there at the show trial in Lower Manhattan. I saw him waving up the big pro-Trump banners. He's always there at Yankee Stadium for our Yankee fans. The guy who's always putting up, "Make America Great Again," Trump 2024, Trump or death. That's the sign that's really famous, or the flag rather, that's famous. That's him. That's this guy. Last week, he held a huge demonstration right in front of Trump Tower, where he pulled out the Trump flag. I want to show the video first, Dion, before we go and talk about that. But he was actually arrested for doing that. This was the greatest display. I mean, he's done this before. He's pulled out these big MAGA flags before in front of Trump Tower, but this one really made the news. This one made all the headlines, and this one actually got him arrested. I think this was the first time he was arrested doing one of these protests. So let's play the video first, and then we'll have Dion talk about it and give us some more context.
The Trump Tower back there.
That's my cue. Get off street, girl. I'm not gonna arrest you.
Can they hear it?
So I just wanted to play that video. It went viral. I wanted to give him credit that this is the guy behind the whole operation. Dion, thank you so much for joining me today on the Live from America podcast.
Thanks. Great to be here.
So could you walk us through what happened that day? What was going on in that video? What was the thought process behind putting out this Trump flag, and what happened to you?
Yeah, well, we can back up a little more, because that's the 5th time that I've opened up a Trump flag in New York City streets. Twice we've done it on 5th Avenue. We had our own little parades, I guess you call it. And twice we've done it down in the Canyon of the Heroes with the giant Trump flags. And I know you've been to at least 1 or 2 of these, Paul. So, the 4 previous times that we've done this, that the NYPD has been very supportive, making sure that these things just go smoothly, not just for the fact of it's, a Trump flag or whatever, but, the right to march down the street, which we've been doing for 250 years in New York, more 300 years, 400, whatever, for a long time. So we just wanted to make sure, the police used to do it for us. So, they've always gone smoothly. No one's ever really gotten hurt. A couple of people have gotten arrested on the opposing side because they've been blocking us. The whole idea with these flags is we open them up, we put them in the streets, and we walk, as pedestrians, I guess you'd say, down the street with a flag. We never impede traffic. We don't block cross sections. We just keep moving until we get to our destination. So up until that day, today, I'm sorry, June the 6th. That was the 6th, June 6th. I actually got they called me and said, "Listen, Dion, we got a new policy. If you open up that flag today, we're going to put you in collars." And I guess, I was like, they probably won't. So when we got there, they told us again, if you open up this flag, we're going to put you in collars because we just instituted a new policy. I'm like, what do you mean new policy? And then I showed them a video of a couple months ago where the Hamas people were walking down 5th Avenue, taking over the streets, blocking the streets. And I said, well, look at this video. I had my flag. I'm waving it over at the top of their heads. And they said, well, we changed the policy. I was like, I'm going to open up no matter what, I'm opening up the flag. We'll get some pictures. If you're going to collar us, let us, whatever. And, we'll do whatever we have to. We'll comply with whatever your demands are. So we opened up the flag. We had it up for about 30 seconds. I don't even think one running of the light, the running of the light from green to red, one cycle. And 30 seconds later, as soon as I see they grab one person, a Chinese fellow, as soon as I see them grabbing, I'm like, okay, they are going to collar us. So we grab the flag. I start reeling it up. And of course, I got grabbed too. So, but And I do want to talk anything further about up until that point, because we know there's more to this saga.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's backtrack a second. So they told you that they just created this new policy out of thin air. This is the first time this policy has ever been enforced, where
Yes.
well, did they handcuff you? What did they actually do to you? And what happened after?
Well, yeah, I got the full treatment. It's the same thing. They put you
Right.
in collars. They take you down to the police station. You get booked. They check to make sure you don't have any warrants. But the thing that was really crazy when I got there, because I've never been in collars before in New York City. I've actually never been in collars before. As soon as I got there, the car pulled up. They took me out of the car, and the guard at the gate said, "Oh, what are we arresting Trump supporters now?" So that's how I knew.
It's crazy, and it's crazy because like literally that same day when all that was going down, there was also a pro-Palestinian protest. I mean, these things are nonstop now in Manhattan. It's like every single day, and it didn't seem like anyone there was arrested at all by the police. I mean, listen, we're pro-police, we're law and order, we respect the rule of law. Our side always does. I mean, this was a very peaceful demonstration that you put on. No one was acting out of line. Why is that? I mean, it's one thing to say, all right, a new law came out. We put you in handcuffs. We put all the Palestinian people in handcuffs there, equal justice. But that's not happening at all. And people see that, obviously.
I don't know. I think it's just I think that at that moment in time in New York City history, everything changed.
Right.
For the NYPD. The NYPD, I can't really say if they were or not supportive of Trump. Let's just say they don't hate the guy.
Right.
Okay. But at that moment in time, they're forced by Mayor Adams or whoever it was came down the line and said, you put these guys in collars no matter what. Okay, period.
Right.
But like you said, at the exact same time, they were putting us in handcuffs. 10 blocks, those illegal aliens walked. 10 blocks. They blocked the street when they got to Times Square. They put up like all these guys with red jackets and they formed a line so no cars could pass. And, and they're free to go. Not one single arrest. And I know that because I was down where they put all the protesters. The first precinct or whatever, what it's called, the fifth ward or whatever the thing is called. It's not where they put people, criminals or anything, but that's where they put all these protesters where they go. So none of the protesters. And the reason why illegal aliens are a lot of work, a lot of paperwork. And I can tell you right now, NYP, they just want to go home every day. They don't want to have it do as little as possible now. But something has happened on June 6th to the state of the NYPD to lock us up at the simultaneously time of allowing the illegal aliens to march for 10 blocks. And not only that, the same officer who was in control of all of it, after he was done with us, he went over to Times Square to, I don't know, maybe high-five them. I don't know what they were doing. But that's it, man. I guess that's the last, just like I'm banned from all the baseball stadiums, and I'm not going back because now they're using facial. I just found out 2 weeks ago they're using facial recognition because I went in and they stopped me. But that's it we can no longer do these parades on the street without being arrested, and it's just sad. We'll find other solutions.
We will find other solutions. And the reason why, and also, by the way, I just heard New York City is giving $45,000 per month for homeowners to house illegals. I mean, the illegal crisis is beyond anything that anyone could even comprehend. They're putting them in schools. They're putting them in luxury hotels. They're flooding the streets. These people assaulted cops. There's video evidence of them assaulting NYPD officers, and they just get a slap on the wrist at most. And that's what the policy is under Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, the corrupt mayor, the most corrupt mayor in the city's history, and of course Kathy Hochul and Letitia James running the state. But the reason why they're so scared, Dion, and this is my opinion, is we just saw a huge motorcade in New York City. We saw another huge boat parade in California. These liberal areas. Trump was able to turn out 25,000 in the Bronx, a borough that's usually overwhelmingly Democrat. So I think they're really afraid now, especially in a state like New York with all this lawfare going on. There are a lot of Trump supporters still in New York State, and they know we're angry. They know we're angry with what is going on. And, more of us are showing up, I think, from what I see. What do you say to that?
I mean, that's a very relative comment because, between 2016 and 2020, we had a 10 million vote surge. And we got that surge because we were out in the streets. We were doing the boat parades. We were doing the rallies. And it was constant. It wasn't just for, 5 months between now and the election. It was especially, obviously the last 2 years were very, very strong. But do I see? No. But obviously the one thing I want to come on and say immediately is just don't let it let you down. The secret to what I do is I've never been arrested
Mhm.
until that moment, you know.
Wow.
But I learned my lesson. And I tell you right now, I have contacts. I have a lot of contacts in the NYPD. I have contacts in the FBI. I've got contacts in media. If I find out that there's an illegal alien parade going down somewhere, I'm going to grab the biggest flag that I have. I'm going to follow them down the street. Okay, that's definitely going to happen, and I know they're going to do it a lot this summer. This summer in New York City, I can tell you right now, while we think there's going to be a big surge of us, and there might be, and I think we need to do more in the urban areas. We definitely need to come into the cities because these are the ones that control every election. There's going to be a massive surge of lawlessness, illegal aliens demanding more things. I mean, what you see in France, Belgium, and whatever,
Right.
Germany in the last few years, we're going to see that this summer. So, unfortunately, I think that's going to hold people back. Now, I know there's a couple boat parades and there's a lot of things coming up, but no, honestly, no. I don't see a big surge of MAGA support. I see people going to what I call the bubble rallies. And the bubble rallies are the ones where, yeah, you're all safe. You go to the Bronx. I don't mean to disparage people that do this, but these rallies that Trump has are supposed to be to motivate you to go out there in the streets and do something. That's why I don't go to them. I've been to one Trump rally and I'll never go to another one. Because when I left a Trump rally one time, I saw a guy taking his MAGA hat off, going to a bar, and I wanted to tackle. So, no, I don't see a large surge for Trump supporters out in the streets, only at bubble rallies.
Okay. Well, listen, you do at the very least, we're seeing, I think, in polls. I mean, you're seeing states like New Jersey, New York. I mean, he's only behind by like 7-8 points. I saw. I mean, obviously take polls with a grain of salt, but I do think, maybe they're, with the recent arrests of you as a great example, maybe people are less. I mean, I see still a lot of enthusiasm, but maybe people are a little more afraid to come out to show their support because of that. I still think, quietly people are, at the very least, they're not happy with Biden. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe it's different for you. Maybe you have a different experience, but I do think there is a little bit of shift. But I want to ask you, in wrapping this up, and I really do appreciate everything that you said today in coming on the show to discuss sort of your experience here. What could we have 5 months now between today and November. Like, what could voters do, especially in blue states like New York, to turn out the support for President Trump, register voters? Like, what's the most important thing that you think we need to be doing between now and November?
Well, yeah, easy, very easy. You got one guy, Scott Pressler, one guy going out there and doing all of it. I'm not saying he doesn't join, people don't join along with him wherever he goes, but we need 50 Scott Presslers. We need 50 people like me and my friends, and I only say there's 10 of us. In my group of big MAGA guys, I can name them all. We need hundreds of them. We need you to put up we need to show strength, and we need to show strength in the cities. With the countries, we got the countries. We got Florida, we got Texas, maybe, but we need to get out to the cities and show our strength. Even if it's little, obviously, and I think I've also proven the smallest act can have the biggest impact. Just one person standing out in the street in a place where you don't belong can have a huge, massive impact to influence people to get them to do it. So like I said, I like to see more people get out the vote, register voters, and just make your presence known with MAGA, everywhere you go.
Exactly. I mean, one person, you're the ultimate example, waving a big Trump flag, just putting out a sign, on the side of the road for a few hours. My mom always does that. You with the Yankee Stadium appearances, which are legendary. I hope I don't know if you're going to continue with that after this or what might happen. But regardless of what, I'm sure you'll come up with something creative if you can't do that. But regardless, one person, and obviously there's strength in numbers, but just one person with the Trump sign makes a huge, huge difference in the real world. If you're out there showing your support, peacefully demonstrating, not doing anything unlawful, doing the right thing, but showing your support, that really goes a long way. Dion, where could people learn more about what you're doing, your work, find you on social media? Where could they find you?
Well, I only have a Twitter. I don't even know how anybody's on Facebook or even allowed to be on Facebook, because I get on Facebook, I say hello, I'm banned. Twitter is our last bastion of free, speech. I say the last bastion of free speech, where you can actually, talk to a lot of people at one time. So at Dion Cini on Twitter, of course, TrumpSwag.com. Everything that I do out on the streets, I actually battle test all my equipment first before I sell it at TrumpSwag.com. And of course, we have the MAGA cruise coming up after the verdict on July 11th. So that's MAGAcruise.com.
MAGA cruise. And where is that? That's happening in New York?
Yeah, that's on July 11th. The boat's already booked. And I say
Excellent.
that we're probably going to go to the Statue of Liberty. But if Trump goes to Rikers Island, we're going to redirect the boat right there.
Excellent. Excellent. So listen, we'll be following you, and obviously you're always welcome to come back to give us updates, Dion. I really, really appreciate you coming on today. One of the best in terms of political activism, not just in New York, but anywhere. Really, really appreciate the work you do. The American people really have to appreciate the work because there are only a few guys just sticking their heads out, supporting President Trump and doing the activism at the scale that you're doing it at. So, thank you so much for what you're doing. God bless you. For all, I mean, it might not seem like a lot, but you really are making headway, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. Really appreciate it. It's worth it.
Absolutely. It is worth it. Thank you so much, Dion. And